doing a ceremonial speech in honor and tribute of Steve Jobs. I've always wanted to own and control the primary technology in everything we do. This is a quote by Steve Jobs whenever it came to describing his pull in the technological field in the Apple Incorporated company. As you can see, here's a list of sources that can kind of help you guys get a better understanding of what I'm going to be talking to you about in my slideshow. So there's three things that I want to recognize Jobs for. There's his accomplishments in life, his obstacles that he's had to overcome, and of course the benefits to society. So Steve Jobs founded the company that we're all pretty familiar with, Apple Incorporated. As I've mentioned to you guys before, Steve Jobs is a college dropout who partnered with Steve Wozniak, who's also a college dropout, where they began building these little computers inside his parents' garage, and they created the Apple I, which after they created the Apple II, they were able to sell 1/3 of their company for $250,000 to Mark Makua. So after they sold 1/3 of their company, that's whenever the Apple Incorporated Corporation began. And as you guys know, that Apple is also the leader in consumer technology. That it's known for the iTunes Store, the iPhone, the App Store, the iPod, our Mac computers, and of course the iPad. Many of you are going to be familiar with this because this is what we use in our everyday lives. There's a lot of accomplishments that Apple's achieved throughout their involvement in our technology. They've sold over 250 million iPods since their creation in 2001. There's over 284 Apple retail stores in the United States, and there's been 50 million visitors to their store since this last quarter. Also, there's 140,000 apps in the App Store. Now, regardless whether we need them all or not, they're there for our liking, whether we choose to purchase them or not. And, of course, Apple is the largest mobile device provider in the world, thanks to the iPhone. And all this is possible because of Steve Jobs' tribute to the company. Also, something that not many of us are familiar with is Pixar. Steve Jobs is also the CEO and co-founder of the Pixar Productions. He purchased the graphics group in 1986, but later renamed it to what we now know as the Pixar Group. He created the most successful movies of all times that we grew up knowing, such as Toy Story, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, basically the movies that really changed Walt Disney's view on children's cartoons. Pixar merged with Disney in 2006, and of course Jobs serves on a 6-man running board of directors for the Disney company. Now, however, a man is powerful enough to create today's prominent technology also has a few obstacles that he's had to overcome in his life. In 2004, Jobs announced that he was diagnosed with pancreas cancer, and for many of you who don't know what that is, it is a very serious, life-threatening situation. He underwent a surgery to successfully remove the tumor, and in 2008, a mistake happened in Bloomberg's publishing that a 2,500-word obituary of Jobs' death was published in the news article. And of course, Jobs had to go through and correct the statement that he was not dead, he was currently living and breathing, and that it was a false statement in Bloomberg's article. So, of course, you know, with Jobs not working right now due to his health concerns, the main question that we have to ask right now is, will the Apple company survive without Jobs? And of course, the answer is yes. And you want to ask why? Why? The answer is because of these 3 reasons. Number 1, Apple survived without Jobs before. Whenever Apple survived, whenever Jobs first had his leave of absence for his health issue in 2004 due to his pancreatic cancer, Apple was still running and going. Even though their stocks dropped a little bit, they were still able to produce their quota and still manage their sales. They had the routinization of charisma and, of course, Pixar. Whenever Jobs left Pixar and he began working with the Apple company, Pixar is still creating movies that children watch today and that parents enjoy taking their children to the movies and purchasing. So, Jobs has faced many health issues that have taken away from his work. However, even though he's taken away from his work, he's put a lot of time into his company. And now, for his benefits into society, the Apple company has many advancements in dependency. Apple has 3 decades of success. There's 14,800 employees in their company, and they're worth over $14 billion in sales. They're also an internationally recognized product line, so I think that this is something really proud that we should be proud of if I was also the CEO of this company. Apple products, as far as the iPod, it's the most influential technological product in years. The reputation for elegant, easy to use desktops, and of course Apple is the largest mobile device company thanks to the iPhone, like we mentioned before. Also, like I mentioned, that Apple has created technology. When we think of technology, we think of Steve Jobs. Apple created the iPod, iTunes, the iPhone, the Apple Store. Basically, all this is in thanks to Steve Jobs. Jobs' creation of Apple Incorporated has opened up new doors for our technology world as well as generations for the futures of tomorrow. So like I said, thanks to Steve Jobs, he's aided in the founding of Apple Inc. and Pixar. He overcame his health obstacles, and he created a company that is the go-to for all things electronic. So when you think of Steve Jobs, you can't help but think that he is the epitome of innovation.